Hey guys, welcome back. Today I'm going to be making a custom picture frame for this piece of art that I commissioned from a friend of mine. I'm first going to run to Hobby Lobby to get some mat board cut to fit the artwork and then some glass also the same size as that mat board. I also grabbed some picture frame hardware to make this a little easier. Then it's back to my shop and I'm going to start cutting the wood I'm going to use for the frame. This is cherry wood that I have actually milled from a tree on our property. I love how this wood turns out, and I've used it on quite a few other projects so far, and I think it'll be perfect for this picture frame. Now this is a piece of scrap that I passed over on the other projects because there's not much lumber here and there's live edges on both sides. I need to get rid of that bark and there's no straight edge, so I'm going to use a trick right here of screwing a straight board onto this to use that as a guide to get a nice clean cut on one side. Then I can flip it over and use that to rip the boards that I need. Now it's important to make sure you've got a very straight piece of wood that you're screwing that onto as a guide. And the other thing is too, I'm trying to keep the screws off of the finished piece, so I'm putting those purposely on the side and the very far edge that I know is going to get cut off. That way I'm not hurting the wood that I'm going to be using later on. But this works perfect to get a nice straight edge. I'll take that guide back off and then I can go through and rip the two boards off of each section that I needed. Now after sending that through the table saw a couple times, I've got perfectly straight boards that are going to be great for the picture frame. Next I'll take this over to the chop saw and I'm going to be cutting 45-degree angles on this, and I'm not getting too fancy. I just want to make sure that those are perfect 45-degree angles, so I use my square first to make sure everything looks good. Then I'm going to cut some clean 45 angles on each side of these boards, and then what's really important is making sure that I've got the measurement just right for the frame, because I'm not making the frame and then cutting the glass to fit the frame. I'm making the frame fit the glass that I already have. So I'm double checking my work, making sure I've got the right size. Then I'm going to go over to my table saw and I'm going to cut a recess for the glass and the backing to set down into that frame so it's flat across the back. So I'll rip that through the table saw on one side, flip it up and rip the other side, and that will give me a nice notch in that wood that the glass, the artwork, the mat board, and the backing can all set down inside. Now I'm going to glue this up and start clamping it together. I'm not going to get too fancy like I said before with the joinery here, just 45-degree angles. I put lots of glue on this. I'll clean up all the excess glue later with the sander, but I wanted to make sure both surfaces were completely covered. I'll clamp that really tight, and this Titebond wood glue is incredibly strong. When it breaks, it will actually break the wood before it breaks the joint itself. So I'm comfortable with this, and I don't believe it's going to ever be an issue with that joint breaking free. And that way I also don't have any nail holes that I've got to patch or cover up and messing up the frame. I want it to look really clean from the outside. I was curious and wanted to make sure the glass would fit and the frame was the right size, so before I let the glue dry completely, I placed the glass, mat board, and artwork in there just to make sure everything was good and I didn't need to adjust anything. Now once the glue has dried, I took the clamps off and I'm going to shave off the excess glue with a chisel just to get the bulk off, and then I'll come back with a sander to clean everything up. Now my sander that I had for about 15 years ended up burning up last week, so I went and got a new orbital sander, and I wasn't really sure which one I should get. DeWalt, in my opinion, is a pretty safe bet. I like it so far, especially with the speed adjuster that you can pick which speed you want for different materials, but I mostly always go with the high speed, get it done as fast as I can because I don't love sanding, but this works a whole lot better than my old one. If you're interested in a sander, I'll leave the link down below. There are many different options, but I felt like for the quality I was getting, DeWalt is really safe and it's pretty economical at the same time. There are cheaper options that you can get, but I did want to get something that was really good quality and would last for another 15 years. After sanding the frame, I'm going to move on to staining or darkening the frame, and I've done this quite a few times with the cherry wood that I've milled. This drain cleaner has a chemical in it that causes a reaction and ages that cherry wood, darkens it into a beautiful dark cherry red that you normally see on antique furniture. The chemical that causes the reaction is lye, and this cleaner says it's 100% lye. I'm going to dissolve that in some warm water and then just paint it onto the piece. It instantly darkens the wood just because it's moisture soaking in, but the magic happens after about 5-10 minutes of it soaking there. It will start darkening and it will turn into this beautiful dark red cherry color. And I found if you want a deeper, darker red, you can add a second or third coat of lye over top of this, or make a higher concentration of lye in your mixture, and that can cause a darker red color on your workpiece. Lye is in a lot of household products. I've seen people use a oven cleaner that has lye in it to darken cherry wood, and it works the same, but I would just say make sure you're using caution and following whatever directions are on the container for your specific application of lye on the cherry wood. For me, I used a respirator and rubber gloves on larger applications. This is a smaller process, so I ended up skipping the rubber gloves and just washing my hands after. And then just to be on the safe side, made sure I had good ventilation in here. Now it's finally time for the artwork to go into the frame. I've got the glass in. There goes the mat board and the art and the backing. I'll show the finished piece later in a little bit, so stick around for that. But next I'm going to be putting in the tabs that hold everything in place. I got these at Hobby Lobby. These will be able to turn sideways if you need to get in there and fix anything or adjust something. You can slide those tabs sideways and everything can come back out. So this isn't permanent. I can adjust anything that I need at a later time. Then I'll install a picture frame hanger. Got this at Hobby Lobby as well. I'll hammer that into place. You want to make sure that this is centered so that the piece will be balanced and the picture frame won't be tilting later. So I measured that out and made sure it's exactly in the middle. Alright guys, that just about finishes up the picture frame. I'm really excited about this. It turned out great and it fits the piece perfectly. And this is a special piece to me. A friend of mine does his art all the time and posts his art on Instagram. And I reached out to him and I asked if he'd be open to commissioning a piece. I said I want something related to my YouTube channel or wood shop, and he drew this. This is his take on me and my videos. So I hope you guys enjoyed this one. I'm really excited about this. I'll show you a few clips of this close up, but if you're interested in checking out his artwork, his Instagram, I'll leave the handle right here at the bottom of the screen. You can check that out. I'll leave the link as well in the description of this video. If you like his work, go check him out, see what else he's done. Alright guys, that just about finishes up the video for today. I hope you enjoyed this one as much as I did, and thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you have not already. Hit that like button and let me know what you think down in the comment section. Thanks guys, and I'll see you in the next one.